Welcome to the Fly Route Pod. Whether it's your first time listening to any of our videos or you're a return listener, do us a favor. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our content.
The Fly Route Pod. The Fly Route Pod. The Fly Route Pod.
All right. It's time to get into our training camp breakdown. I'm going to start with the Chicago Bears because there's a lot going on in Chicago Bears camp. So I'm going to give you all a little download. The first thing that we definitely have to talk about here is the offensive line. Now, the offensive line has struggled in practice, is dealing with injuries. COVID is completely new, and I feel like it's going to be very bad to start off the season. I've been going through all the people that were there in person, watching all the videos. There are definitely going to be some clips that I will get to share with you all. And first is first. It's just like in most situations, especially in training camp, the offensive line is at a big disadvantage to the defensive line. Offensive line generally does poor here. But even saying that, the Chicago Bears offensive line has been struggling at camp. Both the first team, the second team, and the third team have been struggling a lot. They're giving up a ton of sacks. And there's also a big concern right now is that the big rookie that we have coming through to play left tackle, Tevin Jenkins, is currently dealing with a back injury and has not participated in training camp whatsoever at all by the time that we are recording this so far. And there's not a very clear timetable on when he is going to come back. Reporters have questioned Nagy. Was it a couple days? Is it a couple weeks? Nagy has been very cagey with us and only saying things like, oh, well, somewhere between there. He's better than he was before. He's making progress, but nothing to really ease the mind of us Bears fans out there about whether or not he is actually going to be able to start getting reps and starting to gel with this offensive line unit. And that is just not even the worst of it. We are also dealing with other people missing camp as well, such as Elijah Wilkinson, who is currently on the COVID list. And we also aren't able to have him practice anyway. So you might be thinking, okay, with all of these things going on, this obviously makes a lot of sense why the Bears offensive line will be doing quite poorly. In fact, right now we have a fifth rounder. I think his name is Larry Borom, currently playing left tackle for us. And honestly, picked 151st in this draft. It would be diamond in the rough, amazing things if he ends up developing into a suitable long-term offensive lineman. But Nagy has not even been able to say that that's what he expects. He says that we're giving it time, we're being going to be patient, and that he is hoping that there can be high hopes. And the thing we got to understand about offensive line is it's a lot about repetition, and the fine details of these movements, making sure that you know what the other guys around you are doing, that you're gelling, you're one fluid system. And that is kind of something that the Bears offensive line is going to be missing, especially right now with a lot of our key pieces on an already new offensive line being a little bit out of the way. And I get it. This leads me to my second point, which is about Justin Fields. And I'm going to tell you, I do not want Justin Fields to start the season. I think I am one of few Bears fans that's going to look at you right now and say that is a bad decision. And that is largely because our offensive line is going to struggle early based off everything that I've heard and that I've seen from training camp so far. We aren't looking too good. And even once we get all of our starters in there, they're going to be kind of out of practice. They haven't got to practice while everybody else was getting up to speed. They haven't got to gel together. And I don't want to put Justin Fields into another poorly designed situation of Chicago Bear offensive line mess like we had these previous years. I'd rather have him wait a little bit, sit behind Andy Dalton, and look, I get it. Andy Dalton doesn't seem exciting to everybody. But what's really important is early on, I think the offensive line is going to give up a lot of sacks, give up a lot of hits, give up a lot of pressure. And it sounds kind of weird to say this, but I'd rather have experienced Andy Dalton dealing with that situation and what comes with it than new quarterback Justin Fields. But just like last year, our offensive line started to gel, get better. We got our run game underneath us after some games and getting further into the season. that is actually when I would like to see Justin Fields start, when things are a little bit more solidified and he is coming into what is a more successful situation. Now, that being said, Justin Fields has looked great at camp. Everybody is very excited at all the amazing things that he has been doing. And we are going to, according to Nagy, get a very, very, very heavy dose of Justin Fields in training camp and preseason, especially in preseason. He's going to get to play large stretches, and hopefully he gets to grow some confidence in the offense and get a lot of information that he's going to be able to learn from later on in the season. But like, I cannot overstate how good he has looked in camp. People have been electric just watching him touch the ball. And I have a couple of like just clips that I want to show you all that I've aggregated to kind of show how strong he's been in camp. Then we had to get to see him show off his arm, throwing deep, catching receivers in stride, as you can see right there. Perfect pass. Everything's fantastic. He even beats the rush and goes off for a long run in training camp. And as you can see in many of these plays, the offensive line is not holding up all that great, but Justin is making it happen anyway. And this is exactly what I'm trying to say, is that for the most part, we should be very confident in Justin Fields' skills when the time comes. But right now, we got to think about Andy Dalton. And good news here is that everybody, from everything I've heard, has said Andy Dalton doesn't look shabby in camp either. He's connecting with the receivers like Allen Robinson really well as Darnell, Mooney, and some of our other guys. And it's great to see. He's looked sharp. It seems like he's very comfortable in the playbook. And the most important thing, which is usually the hardest thing for new receivers and quarterbacks to get down with each other, is timing. Matt Nagy has complimented his timing time and time again, I guess, for just the easy way to make this happen. And that is something that I think we should just stay calm, stay strong, and things will definitely work out for us, Bears fans. Do not panic and give Andy Dalton a chance to put Justin Fields in the best situation that he can be. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you all about is, look, at the skill position, I think that we actually are looking really, really, really good. And that is something that's huge for us. Now, the first thing is Cole Kmet. Look, everybody, a lot of us know about him, tight end, drafted last year. And we are really hoping that between him and Jimmy Graham, we might be able to run some 2 tight end sets and just really show him break out as more of an offensive weapon this year. And he has shown, according to Chris Emma and other reporters that are there at this time, that he has shown that he's able to connect and get a lot of catches in traffic, operate in the key area for the tight end, especially in this offense that Nagy wants to run. And for the most part, look, things are a little tough in the running back room, but with a very, very, very nice silver lining. Tariq Cohen has still not been able to play, and for the injury that he has had, the timetable for return was around 9-ish months. We're well past that now, and we are still in like a lot of worry for Tariq Cohen and where he can kind of get us this season. He hasn't been able to really practice or participate, but that is not the end of the world because Damian Williams has been a stud in training camp so far. People are saying he looks like a very good fit for the offense. He can fill that catching back role and change the pace that we want Tariq Cohen to be able to fill, and that we should not be worried. He's been able to show his route running skills and his ability to help on special teams. He's been able to show his speed, getting behind linebackers in our defense in practice and on 7-on-7s, which, by the way, in those 7-on-7 drills, people were pointing out that Dalton was throwing receivers open and hitting them in their spots and throwing the ball before they even got into their breaks and moving with anticipation, which is very, very good to see that he's going to have that confidence. The second is, especially for our skill position guys, oh my, Darnell Mooney is primed for a breakout season. And there are a couple of reasons for this, and that we already know. Look, he has elite NFL speed, top of the NFL speed, and came in the NFL as a really advanced route runner based off the time that he had at Tulane. And this is all without a training camp, without a preseason, and the coaches are on Darnell Mooney, trying to fix and tweak and change and bolster everything they can about his already dynamic package to put him in the best position to have a huge year this year. And what from all reports I've seen, him and Allen Robinson have been attached at the hip. Allen Robinson has been mentoring him, showing him around, and it seems like he is going to be a huge, deep threat for the Bears this year. And I'm looking in and kind of feeling that a lot. The last is David Montgomery. He has looked like a beast in camp. That is just from multiple reports. He's breaking off large runs. They're not really tackling a lot right here, but he's making good cuts, reading the defense very well. And I even have a pretty big run to show you. Look at him go. He looks fluid, he looks explosive, and honestly, I'm just overall excited to see what he can bring to us in another year, hopefully behind a more stable offensive line as the season starts to shake out. And the last thing is just the defense. The defense is, well, looking like what you would expect a Chicago Bears defense to look like. They have the right attitude. There are reports of things getting chippy between offensive and defensive linemen on the first day of pads, which is always something great to see. The team is fired up. They're ready to go, and they are really interested in putting their imprint on this season. And look, Sean Desai, new defensive coordinator. Look, people like Khalil Mack have said great things about him, that is going to bring back some of those schemes from the Vic days in which the Bears defense was even better than it was in recent years, especially last year. And we're hoping for a little bit of resurgence on that side. From everything I've seen, even though it's really, really early, and I cannot say that enough, it is really, really early. Chicago Bears fans should be massively, massively excited about this upcoming season.